we're good. We'll record it. Okay, we're recording.
Okay.
There we go. So I just wanted, I'm gonna you guys all know Amanda, but I'm gonna introduce her anyways because she's one of my amazing frontline leaders, and she has been kicking butt and taking names these last few months. She is going to tell you a little bit about her story. So Amanda's a silver leader on my team. She has been building for 3.5 years, and 3.5, yep, 3.5. And she recently just, Riley is like 15 months old, March, April,
somewhere, who knows?
Almost 15 months. Yeah, this month will be 15 months. And she has a 4-year-old at home as well. And she has enrolled 9 people in the last 3 months. And the month is not over, and she's cranking it out for some more. So I wanted her to come on here and talk to us about that, what she's doing differently, and how she is still getting that many enrollments as a silver leader and doing it as long as she has. So here, you can just take it away. I'm going to mute myself and take her away, Amanda.
All right. So thank you for that lovely warm introduction. That's very good for my ego. So I honestly, it's really hard to explain what has changed. Something just shifts in your head, I guess, when you have no other options. My situation's a little different. I don't have a full-time 9-to-5 anymore. Most of you know that I quit my job when I was done my mat leave with Riley. It just didn't make sense for our family anymore. And please don't take this as me telling you guys to all go and quit your job, because obviously I would never assume that on anyone or ask you to do that. This is just my personal situation. So anyways, what happened, I literally just went to my back office and looked at my last 10 enrollments on my dashboard. And I literally just made little notes of who they were and how I enrolled them and like how I met them, kind of thing. So the first one that popped up was my sister. So obviously you're going to think it's easy, but it's not. We actually got into a massive fight prior to enrolling her. I don't really even know how it sparked or what happened, but we got into a giant fight, and she got crusty about me asking her to support my business and saying that I don't support hers. And the funny thing is that she works for Bell, and me and my husband both have our cell phones with her through Bell. So we literally support her every month with $1 million trillion for our cell phones. But side note. So anyways, after our big fight, she finally saw the light and wanted to support me and wanted oils and blah, blah, blah. And funny, because now she loves oils and she's ordering monthly. And so it's important to remember, guys, that your family and friends, I think we've heard this before, are not going to take you to silver, to diamond. Like, I've been in this 3 years and she just enrolled now and just is seeing the light, right? So it's really important to remember that you do not rely on your family and friends. Like, nobody owes you anything. Okay. So as much as we would like our families to support us, it's not always the way. And oftentimes they think I don't have to because I'm family, they think they don't owe us anything. So just keep that in mind, that your family and friends are not going to take you to diamond. And it was 3 hard years that she didn't support me, but now here she is. So better late than never, right? The next one her name is Heidi. She's a mutual friend. And I literally just ran into her in the courthouse because I went back to visit some of my old colleagues and she took my job. And I don't care. I'm happy for her that she replaced me. I shouldn't say she took my job. She replaced me in my job. So I ran into her. And when we become intentional and we are out there and we are online and people know our presence, as soon as she saw me, she instantly was like, oh, I want to get some oils from you. But she doesn't have Facebook, so online is a bad example for her, but she had seen me through other mutual friends and she knew what I was doing. So that goes back to being intentional, talking to people about what you're doing. Yes, an online social presence, but being very open with what you are doing, because the second she saw me, she knew what I did. She knew that I'd left. She knew that I was doing oils full time. So the minute she saw me, it instantly triggered her brain like, oh yes, I want oils. And we exchanged. She took my number. I made the mistake of not getting hers, but because we were mutual friends, I had somebody that I could go back to and get the phone number. But rookie mistake, guys, if you guys are going to exchange numbers, make sure that he or she has yours and you have his or hers, because you know, she's got twin girls. She's an extremely busy woman. So it took her that long to try and get a hold of me anyways to get oils. So getting hold of me again wasn't priority, right? So just make sure you're always exchanging numbers. But yes, being intentional. She knew exactly what I did for a living. So the second she saw me, it triggered her brain. Okay. So she was just a mutual friend and I ran into her. Another one, my next enrollment was Jamie, and she was a class from a hostess. So again, getting intentional and asking your customers to host for you, especially if you know they're ordering and they're loving it. Spoil your customers. If I encourage you to go back and look through your detailed genealogy and see who's ordering. If they're ordering a lot, then maybe you can reward them with stuff that they are saving up for, that they want, and you'll have that conversation with them later. But that opens the door to say, you know, I see that you're loving your oils. Would you like to share these with your family and friends since you love them so much? And in return, I will spoil you and I'll give you some free stuff. And if they're ordering a lot, they're not usually it depends. They may turn down, they may not be into that, in which case that's fine too. And you know, you have to honor their choice. If they say no to you, don't be upset. Don't hold a grudge. Don't take it personally. Just continue to spoil and love on your people, because you never know when that will come back. And also this can work both ways. If you see they're not active, you could just touch base. And that's, again, just being intentional with them and seeing what's up, and, you know, message them or email them, however you communicate with them. Don't fire hose them right away. If you want to host a class for me, you know, be intentional and be genuine and honest with your people and sincerely show them love and that you care for them, and that will come back around. So that can go both ways. You know, if you see that they're using a lot, you can offer them free stuff. And if you see that they've fallen off the boat, then maybe an incentive to get them back on the doTERRA boat. Okay. My next one, this is a good one. This girl's name is Shara, and she lives in the area. And my friend Ashley kind of referred me to her. She said, I think this girl would really be into oils because she's a hardcore vegan. She's really into like the natural holistic lifestyle. She's got kids, my kids' age. So Ashley kind of was our middle connector, but she never really hooked us up. I just saw them commenting on each other's Facebook. So I would jump in there as like the creepy third wheel and comment. And that kind of like made our connection though. And then we literally just said, hey, you know, I think you have kids same age and I think we have similar interests, want to hang out. Like it was a play date for adults, literally. So I did that, and she's got a wellness group and she does some life coaching. So I bought some sessions from her and we went over like a little bit of life coaching stuff. And then she did this group because she started her own business of, you might have seen her if you have the In the Hills magazine from around here. She was just in it on a spread on veganism and how she feeds her family. So we became friends, and turns out, obviously, she was very into oils. And she's a researcher through and through. So she was extremely impressed by doTERRA. And she was very hesitant of certain oils at first because her schooling and her spec told her, you know, she's going to school for holistic nutrition, I believe. And there is a section in there on essential oils. But as we all know, when they see essential oils, that's broad, you know, essential oils from Walmart, Costco, Winners, doTERRA, we're all in the same category, which yes, we know isn't fair, but that is how it's grouped right now. So she was very, very skeptical of some oils and using them on her kids and blah, blah, blah. But once she did the research and she realized our oils, she was all in, and she has since referred 2 people to me. Okay. I haven't enrolled them yet, but I'm working on them and I actually have a conversation with one of them this week who may be interested in building. Okay. So she ended up being a really good connection. And she's also referred her sister to me. Again, she's not ready to enroll right now. She's moving soon, but again, another referral. So she's referred 3 people to me. And I plan on enrolling them all. Okay. It's just, again, sometimes it's not people's time right away, and we have to honor that and not, you know, it takes an average of 8 to 12 touches for people to enroll. So fortune is in the follow-up, guys. Don't ever let people go off your radar. Don't be annoying and on them every day, but once a week and you know, you could even say, I hope I'm not annoying you. My actual wording is, I hope I'm not annoying you, but if I don't put you on my follow-up list, I won't remember. So, you know, you tell me if you want me to back off, and most people are just busy and no, that's okay. And then some people will tell you, no, I'm not interested. In which case then you back off and you honor their choices. You don't be annoying, you know, and don't take it personally. Like, yeah, we might be thinking, what? Why? Who doesn't want oils? But it's not everybody's thing. So we have to accept that sometimes. So Cher was a great connection on Facebook. Okay. So I encourage you to see what your friends on Facebook are already doing and what they're up to. If you see they're doing a small business, support them, because it's going to come back to support you. She was literally just a mutual friend, and she ended up being a really great connection because she had this wellness group that she was doing. And my referrals in there came from me offering out rollers. Okay. So I had to mail one to, I can't remember where she lives. It's way out in the friggin' sticks. I can't remember the town. It cost me flipping $17 to mail her a roller. So yeah, that kind of sucks, but you got to spend money to make money, right? And she's the one that's interested in building. So that's going to come back to reward me 1,000 times. Okay. The other one, she lives in Barrie, but she works in Newmarket, and I was planning on going to Costco. I was planning on going to Guelph, but since she lives in Newmarket, I didn't want to pay another $17 to mail a roller. And I also wanted to, be in person as much as I can, put a face to the name. I changed my plans. I said, okay, well, I'll go to Costco in Newmarket instead of Guelph, right? Yes, it wasn't my plan, but you got to be flexible if you want to make connections and meet people. So sure enough, I told her, okay, well, how about Costco? Because I was planning on going there anyways, and perfect. And then she came to Barrie with us last week. So again, another great connection, right? Like, and putting a face to the name, being intentional and kind of being flexible in your plans. Yeah, I didn't really want to go to the Newmarket one. I liked the Guelph one, but that's where she was. So that's what I did. Okay. My next one was Mary. She, again, was from a hostess. This hostess blew me off for months and months and months and months and months. She kept telling me, yes, I want to, but it kept not being the right time. She blew me off forever. And then finally she did. And then her sister-in-law enrolled with a Healthy Habits kit. Okay. So again, it took a long time, but had I not kept following up with that girl who said she would host, I never would have got her sister-in-law to enroll, right? And her sister-in-law already had oils, but she was buying them off of somebody, which we all know we're not supposed to do. And when she asked me why I don't do that, I literally told her, because you're missing out on promos, you're missing out on points. And she had no idea. And she was a little bit annoyed. And she was like, oh, well, and she asked me, so I may have missed out. I'm like, well, yeah, maybe, but that's why people shouldn't do that, and they do. But when you explain to them that this is your business and this is your livelihood and you are not going to bend on that, they realize and they take you seriously. I wasn't a crazy bitch or anything to her, but I told her, I don't do that. This is my business. I can't afford to have them take my account away. This is how I feed my kids. So no, I don't do that. So don't even ask. And she respected that. Okay. The next one was my mom's friend. This woman is extremely unhealthy, and I've been on her forever and ever and ever and ever. And she kept saying, yes, I want to improve my gut health and blah, blah, blah. And she never did. And then my mom and her sister bought her an Aromatouch diffuse for her birthday, very generous gift. And now she loves them. She's working on getting rid of, she ditched all her synthetics in her house, all her Febreze and, Glade air fresheners. We're working on her gut health. She's got serious problems. So she bought the Healthy Habits kit. So she's got the vitamins and the Terrazyme now. So, but again, I chased her forever, and it took a long time, but average 8 to 12 touches. Okay. So don't give up. Another one. So this next one, her name is Caitlin. She followed me on social media for over a year, and we were old work colleagues before she reached out to me, and she was using another brand of oils. I think from New Directions or something like that. So not always posting, deals and promos and kind of being sleazy, but posting a lot about the education and why it matters that we're using doTERRA. She followed me for a year before she reached out. And she said to me, I've been following you for a long time, and I like your feed. I like your info, and I want to make the change. And she already had a million other oils, but she realized why and the difference between her oils and the testing and blah, blah, blah. You guys know, so I don't go into that. But yeah, literally a year. And I was listening to Akili Martinez training today, and she said the exact same thing. She said, people will follow you generally on social media for probably almost a year before they reach out. So, I know not everybody's huge into social media, but get going. If you're not, it is something I would consider looking at. Because even when you think people aren't listening, they are. I get like an average of 2 likes on my business stuff, like, and it's usually my best friend and usually Kristen liking it. But when you look at the views, I'll have 40, 50, 60, 100, 200 views. I had 400 views on something I posted like a couple weeks ago and 2 or 3 likes. How, right? But that's how many people saw it. Okay. So don't discount social media. Another one was an old friend, an old colleague that she has some serious stress and anxiety issues. And I don't honestly remember who reached out to who. I think she reached out to me about oils. It literally started with just her buying supplements. This was the one I talked about that I bumped her order because she was just shy of 100 PV, and it doesn't count for, any promos or the incentive trips or anything we've got going on right now if it's not over 100. So she's the one that I spoke about last time that I bumped over 100. And she loves the LLV. She takes Copaiba every day, soft gel. She's been taking the women's blend, and it literally just started with supplements. She didn't even have a single oil yet, but don't discount that, guys. Don't be scared. Don't give up on them. I've made her probably several rollers. I've lent her a diffuser, and she's getting there slowly and surely, but just supplements to begin with. And then my last 2, I saved them for the end because these ones are my favorite. And this is really where getting intentional comes into play. So this last one, she's a massage therapist, and my girlfriend Ashley referred me to her, and she's a mobile, and Ashley's a massage therapist, and she's my best friend. But she referred me to her because she's a mobile massage therapist, and I was having a really hard time with getting actually physically out the door for massage. If you guys know me, my husband works a lot, and he oftentimes works out of the house like all week, doesn't come home at night. My mom lives 2 hours away, and his parents are an hour and a half away, and we have no siblings around. So trying to find childcare is very difficult for us. So Ashley suggested this mobile massage lady, and I'll tell you, she canceled on me the first time. And then the second time she showed up half an hour late. So I had an extremely bad taste in my mouth right now for her. I had made arrangements for both my kids. Riley was sleeping, so I was on borrowed time, and a friend had Aiden, so I could only kick them out for so long while I had a massage here. So I had a really sour taste in my mouth for this girl. Anyways, she comes, she gives me a massage. It was all good. I had already had my aroma touch out because I was totally planning on just using it for me and asking her to use it. I had my diffuser going because I wanted like major relaxation, right? The second she came in and was massaging me, she instantly saw the diffuser and made a comment and was like, "Oh, is that doTERRA?" And I said, "Yeah, obviously." And she said, "Oh, I've been meaning to get On Guard forever. My kid is always sick." So I said, "Okay, well, we'll talk after." She told me she's a smoker and she was trying desperately to quit because she's always like feeling gross. And so I made her a roller. If you guys, I had a logo made for myself, and this is it right here. And I had it put it on 2 stickers from Julie's Chickie there in Wasaga. So it's literally just my logo with my name and phone number on it, which is really genius because they can't lose that. Like they can lose a business card, right? Well, they can, but they're less likely. So I made her up a respiratory roller, and we chatted a little bit oils and sent her on her way. And next day she messaged me, "Oh my God, I love it. I couldn't believe how much better I was breathing instantly." She quit cold turkey that day after I made her the roller. She said she felt so much better. She gave it to her sister-in-law to try because she's also a heavy smoker. And within 2 days, her sister-in-law was messaging me as well. "I need that roller. I need those oils. When can we meet?" Okay, so this was very quickly, these 2, and their sister-in-laws-ish. So it was a very quick turnaround. We farted around trying to find a date forever because they live about an hour from me. So again, I had to be flexible. I had to make my schedule work for her. I got lucky that my husband was home on a day that she was available. We met, and in the first 5-10 minutes, she was telling me how broke she is. They had to move up to Markdale because it's the only place they could afford a house. We were chatting oils though. I had my Nature Solution handout. I went through the top 10. I went through the sourcing, the regular. I won't go into too much detail. So at the end, the close, I told her how it works and I showed her the kits, and she was just loving the whole thing. And she was hemming and hawing. And in my head, I was thinking, "Oh, great. She's like hemming and hawing if she wants to enroll and she's going to buy retail." And like, cause we get in our own heads. And I said, "So tell me, what are your questions you have for me? What are you thinking about?" And she said, "Oh, I'm just thinking about which kit." And I said, oh, okay, great. What are you thinking of? What are you looking at? And she said, this one or this one. And she pointed to the Home Essentials and the Natural Solutions. So in my head, like, I'm starting to sweat. I'm like, oh my God, really? Like, you're going to do that? So I explained to her, you know, what's in there, the value, the fact that frankincense, the lumo, and the vitamins make up about $300, and the entire thing is 600, almost 7 with tax. So, you know, the value is huge, yada, yada. You guys know the spiel. And she was still sitting on the fence, but she was looking at my Essential Life book, because I just did I did an MEB order, so I had a few, and I said to her, well, how about this? If you get that one, I'll give you this book for free. Boom, sold, done. She was so in. And I'm still like sweating at that point and thinking like, yeah, she's going to read an egg. She's going to realize. So I had my laptop there. I busted it out. I fired it up, and, you know, I'm like still sweating and like, come on, load Wi-Fi, get on before she changes her mind. And she did not change her mind. I started today again, and she was saying, I cannot wait for that box to show up. So this is the girl that pissed me off, and I had a bad taste in my mouth, but I still supported her business, and look what she did for mine. Okay. So this is just where that intentions comes in. This was a very lucky one though. Okay, guys, don't think that every, you know, RMT you're going to meet is Natural Solutions. It may not happen like that. It was very quick, but had I not had that aroma touch out and my diffuser going, she wouldn't have known who I am. She wouldn't have known that I do doTERRA. So be intentional. And then her sister-in-law is the one that turned around and also messaged me and was like, I love that roller. I need it. We set a date to meet. She messaged me that morning saying, do you have those oils on hand that I could buy? And I told her, no, I don't. That's not really how it works. She told me, I'm not a millionaire, blah, blah. I said, that's okay. Me neither. We will work within your budget. I literally just walked in from my mom's. I was away for 2 days. My Healthy Habits kit was sitting there that I bought from Barry. So I brought that with me because I thought, well, maybe she'll like this. So I brought that with me because I knew she'd already told me that she wanted to have oils to take home that day. And then I also made her that little Breathe respiratory roller in case she didn't want that Healthy Habits kit and she had to wait, because either way, she had told me, guys, so we're always listening, right? She told me she wanted oils that day. And whether that was going to be possible or not, I had that roller just in case I could send her with something if she had to wait. Anyway, she ended up wanting the Healthy Habits kit. So super happy. I could send her on her way right there with the kit, and it was all good. I didn't give her the respiratory one. I kept that because I ended up giving her the entire Healthy Habits kit. And you might be thinking, well, how does that work? Like, now you're going to end up with a Healthy Habits kit, but that's okay, right? Because I just gave mine away. So I enrolled her as normal. I just did the billing address as her place, and the shipping address is mine. So the Healthy Habits kit comes back here because I obviously gave mine away. And something else that I've been doing that I thought I would show you. Oh, I don't have it in this bag. It's upstairs, but I made some welcome packs, and I literally just bought pencil cases from the dollar store, and I put my A to Z guide in there, some rollers, you know, the toothpaste samples, the deep blue sample, the things that we would normally do in our welcome pack. And I brought it with me. So I also had that to send her on her way. This is kind of new. I don't usually always do that. I've kind of been holding that because it sets that up for that next step, where the membership overview. And also make sure that you're telling them when you enroll them that you want to sit down again once they get their oils. And then you tell them, I have a little gift for you that I want to give you. So when can we meet? Once they have their oils, right? But you're always letting them know that you will be back, 2, 3, 4 days, whatever, once they get their oils, that you want to sit down with them again. And then sometimes it can be hard to get people to sit down and do that. They're, everybody's busy. So you kind of use that little welcome pack as a bribe, kind of a little bit, because you have a gift that you want to give to them. And that's how you kind of get them back in front of you again. It doesn't always work. Sometimes they're farther away. I've had to mail these out before, but again, you got to spend money to make money. And every single person I've sent those out to are so grateful. And, I don't put them in that pencil case then because that's too big to mail. I just put it in a regular, padded envelope and send it on its way like that. But everybody is super grateful for those. Okay. So that's literally the last 10 people that I've enrolled, and how I met them, and how, being intentional kind of kind of change that. Adjusting your schedule is something that we have to be flexible with in this business too. I know that can be very difficult if you like to run a very tight ship, and especially because, you know, you may have a job or kids or both, multiple jobs, multiple kids, and sometimes it's hard. But as we're growing, especially in the beginning phases, and as you go into leadership positions, it's very important to be flexible. As you get into these higher ranking positions, you'll see the bigger leaders talking about time blocking and, yes, being flexible, but also protecting their time. But for me personally, I have found that in this time in my life where I am, I have to be flexible to other people's schedules. That doesn't mean I'm a doormat. That doesn't mean I'm going to meet people at 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock or even 9 o'clock at night. That's not how that works for me. So sometimes meeting people halfway. I've had people ask me to come do a one-on-one with them at 8:30 at night in Bolton, and I told them no, that I'm not starting work at 8:30. 8 o'clock is pretty well the last time I was willing to do, and they said okay. So again, just being flexible. But that's really honestly it. And as for getting the enrollment, I've also really changed the way I talk to people. I did get burned out of class a couple of weeks ago for people sharing their account. And I said to Julie after I kicked myself for not speaking up about that. I'm doing Keely's training, guys. And whoops, I hope you're still with me. Did I just boot myself out of here?
Yeah, no, we're here.
There we go.
Oh, and Caroline has a question, Amanda.
Yeah, hit me.
So when you were talking about the information you posted on Facebook and said that lady who had followed you for a year, was that on your own personal feed or your Essential Tribe page?
I don't know if I had a business page at that time. It may have been on my personal feed, but we try to not spam too much on our personal page because you don't want your friends to leave, right? You still want to have friends. But if you look at like people like Haley Hobson or Keely Martinez or WholeFit, they only have one page that I know of. So I kind of dabble back and forth and thinking, do I need 2 pages? Do I need 1? Do whatever suits you. But if you're going to have just the one, make sure that you are still posting personal stuff, your kids, your dogs, whatever, not always all the time. And Keely is a good rule too. Try to do I think it's 80-20, where 80% education and tips and 20% promos, especially if you're going to only have the one, because you don't want to be that sleazy car salesman, right? Where you're always just shoving promotions down people's face, because that's not going to work. They got to know why they should want that promotion, right?
I only have my own personal personal news feed. And then I have my group. I have my business group. So it's 2 different things.
Yeah. So what, and I was just, if I can just jump in here, this is a perfect thing to bring up, is that if you have your group, like your Essentially Ours, right, is what it's called? Caroline?
Yes. Sorry, I muted myself again. Yes.
Sorry. So if you have your Essentially Ours set to a private group, then nobody is seeing that from the outside that isn't in that group, right?
Correct.
So sometimes if you have it even just as an open group, then people can see, people will see when I post to my page, people will see it that don't even like my page, because they can see that I've posted something or somebody's commented. Like if you comment on my page, your friends will see that because it's a page, right? And so the same thing with an open group. If you have an open group, then they will see that you've posted in it your friends that maybe aren't even in the group, or people that aren't even in the group. And it just opens that line of communication. I also think that it's not a bad thing to post on your personal page about, like you do, Caroline, about, and a lot of you do, about being at events, like being at, the Healthy Habits tour, like hanging with my homies or whatever.
Absolutely.
Stuff with that. And the more people that you can get in and show that this isn't some like weird, freaky, hippy dippy witchcraft kind of thing, for 99% of people, that's what they want to see and feel, like that they're not alone, and that, oh my God, if so-and-so's doing it and she's totally not happy or whatever it is, right? Then that they open up a little bit more. Totally still post on your personal page. even at the beginning of BOGO was like, oh my God, the best week of the year is here. What, something like that. Not as so much sales focused, but just, like Jody talks about the fun meter, right? Getting your fun meter up so that people see your posts that aren't even your friends.
Right. Yeah. And that's
Caroline,
what I certainly try to do all the time.
I would just make sure that your group is public and not private. I think Kristen just made this switch from a private to public group, and she can back me on that. I'm pretty sure she just did that. I have a page. Kristen has a group. So I think I just heard her say yeah there.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So again, that opens it up, because again, when it's private, it's just the people you've put in there. And when it's public, it opens it up, and then they can tag their friends and blah, blah, blah. So, but back to the original question, I honestly don't remember what page I had at that time and where she was following me. But we were also old colleagues, so we probably had each other personally on Facebook as well. But either way, when I first started too, I kind of like, run, if you have a page and you're new in this business, running a little giveaway is a great way to bring people to your page and drive traffic, the usual like, comment, share, that kind of thing, tag a friend, blah, 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 and have something cool that you're going to give away. I mean, it doesn't have to be huge. People like free stuff. So it's just a good way to drive traffic. So I'm not sure which page, but she follows me on both now. And it probably just started as friends, and then she did both. But we won't get too deep in like how to get traffic drive, because that's a whole social media course. But hashtags, I know they're kind of lame, but they do actually really drive a lot of traffic.
Well, I think when I had started my group, I think we were all being told, at that point, because it would be almost 2.5 years ago, that it had to be closed, right? Because there were so many things we couldn't say, and all of that. And it was meant to be, that is my VIP group. I don't have more than one.
Yeah.
I just have the one. So yeah, maybe it is time for me to think about, making that public, and it not just being, that the information, the education can be, for everybody to see. I mean, I'm not compliant all the time.
I know it's hard to be compliant online. I have found, I'm still not compliant online, so I'm like the worst person in the world to be preaching about this, but, and I really should be, but my page is public, so anybody can see it. But I find, like if you have builders, I kind of piggyback off Julie a little bit. I, we'll send them to the Oil Unicorn group or whatever. But it's okay to piggyback off other pages. Like if you wanted to have,
I share your stuff all the time. Thank you.
For sure. But if you want to have them, that's fine. If you want to have them in a group, you may have to look at like having, whatever your brand name is, group for just your customers, and then a page for just education, or just opening your group up to being public. But then again, trying to be compliant, which is a little more difficult. But I don't know. We really should be compliant, but I do find it difficult. But if we're going to be on a public platform, then yes, we should. Right. That might just be something that you have to think about what works for you. I have a hard time with Facebook managing what I have, so having multiples isn't going to work for me right now. And if I get a builder or a share, then I just kind of piggyback off Julie's group and put them into the Oil Unicorns, because that's all one spot for us anyway. So
yeah, absolutely. I'll have to ask Erin how compliant she thinks I am on a regular basis.
It's hard. I ran into I don't remember where I was going with this, but it was back about people sharing an account. I'm not really sure where the heck I was going with that, but oh yes, because I've been becoming very intentional about what I'm saying when I enroll people. I very rarely bring up retail. I might bring it up kind of and just say and just literally say, yes, there is a retail option. I really don't recommend it. It's so expensive. I don't even know if I've been fully bringing it up. I really just follow the lead of who I'm sitting with. I did get burned on sharing an account at a class. I thought I had prepped the host, but I guess she forgot. And I was saying this to Julia, I can't remember, but I did look back through our messages and told her no sharing accounts, blah, blah, blah. And at the class, her aunt, mom, and her sister-in-law were there. And the aunt and the mom just wanted to borrow off her account. And they said, can we not just do that? And she's like, oh yeah. And the mom said, but it'll benefit you, right? And talking to me. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I should have just right there and then said, no, that's not how this works. and not in a mean bitchy way, but just said, no, well, it's not really how doTERRA works. And you really want your own account. You want your own wholesale perks, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to take any of that away from you. This is literally like verbatim from Keely's training that I bought from her. Literally word for word, if you want it. She always says, oh, that isn't how doTERRA works. You actually want to get your own membership so you can get your own wholesale perks, which are incredible. I don't want to take your rewards away from you. Plus, the membership fee is waived with any of my starter kits, and it opens up the opportunity to purchase at 25% off anytime you want in the next year. Super kind, super friendly, but also no sharing. Okay, so don't be afraid to say that. I know it gets awkward at classes and it can get a little difficult, but don't forget, this is your business, your time. You and your time are very valuable. So don't be afraid to say no. And that's even something that I'm still learning how to do, because I know that it can get difficult. As for the enrolling part, I literally just put the kits out there and I explained to them that this is the smartest way. They're bundled and discounted. I've really been pushing that healthy habits kit. I just tell people why. It's not hard to push when you're on the LLV and you know the benefits. And obviously you guys know the oils, Frank, lemon, lavender, On Guard, my life. So it's not a hard push for me, a hard sell, because I truly, truly believe in that. And just being firm but kind with them, and just really showing them and asking them, not being afraid to ask for the sale. What do you think? What are you looking at? What are your questions? And then they'll usually tell you, and then you can bank off of that and roll with them. So this can feel scary, especially if you're new. But the only way to get over that fear is to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. You can ask Julie about how I was 2-3 years ago. I hated classes. I did not want to public speak. I despised it. It's still not my favorite thing. I much prefer to teach for somebody who's not my people, because I don't know them. And if they think I'm a loser, then that's fine. They never have to see me again. But the only way to get over these hard, crappy things is to keep doing it, because they will become less hard and crappy as you go. We have to do these uncomfortable things to get comfortable, right? And sometimes it seems slimy and greasy, but the more you practice it, the easier it will become. And if that means practicing to your kids, your dog, your husband, whatever, just somebody, practice in a mirror, practice on camera, record yourself, it will feel less crappy the more you do it.
This is the girl, guys, that told me that she wanted me to teach her classes for forever. And I eventually told her no and kicked her out of the nest. And was like, hard no, we're done. And she's like, well, I'm not doing classes. And I was like, well, you have to do classes. That's not an option.
I tried to do one-on-ones forever. I still prefer one-on-one, but it's easier to have a class and enroll 4 or 5 people at once than it is to have 5 one-on-ones, right? So, but it is still my preference, but. And
you still knock them out of the park, and that's okay. Like, if you're not, at some point, everybody has to teach a class. And that's okay. Like, you don't have to teach it right away by yourself and whatever. And we're here to support you, but not for forever. And if your preference is one-on-ones and you have the time for one-on-ones, then that's amazing.
Rock them out all day long if you can.
Yeah, like every, even imagine if you just did 1 or 2 every week. If you did 2 one-on-ones and you enrolled, like if you're an enrolling machine at one-on-ones, do the one-on-ones and do 2 one-on-ones a week. That's only like 2.5, 3 hours out of your whole week. I know that all of you can find 3 hours out of your week to do 2 one-on-ones, even if it's an hour and a half sitting there, right? Like, or even if it's 2 hours with drive time in there, to like twice a week, 4 hours a week. I know that you guys can all find 4 hours in your week for that.
A lot of these people too that are here, like I kind of walked you through how I know them, but don't be afraid to ask people, would you want to sit down and have a one-on-one? Especially if you want to have classes booked, ideally, that you can invite them to. But if they can't make a class, then that's a really good opportunity to say to them, okay, well, when can you meet? What best serves your schedule? Putting it into them and loving on them, they're usually quite receptive to that, especially when you're working hard to work with their schedule. They appreciate that. So don't be afraid to ask them, okay? And don't be afraid to ask your people for referrals, because once they're loving the oils, they're going to want to they're going to want to refer you. But just don't give up on your people. Love them, spoil them. It's hard when you're feeling very frustrated. That being said, yes, there is a time to draw a line in the sand. You don't want to be a doormat, but that average person takes a lot of touches before they're going to enroll. So don't give up, and don't forget to follow up with people. Okay. There's one on here that I didn't talk about, but I chased her for literally 1 entire year. I saw her when I was massively pregnant with Riley. It was in December, maybe January-ish, and she enrolled of Christmas of last year after she had literally just walked out of her job, but she was so done and so stressed, and it just wasn't her time for those 12 months leading up to it. 1 entire freaking year, guys. So I just kept letting her know of promos and blah, blah, blah. And then one day she just said, okay, yep, let's roll Home Essentials in December after she just quit her job because it just wasn't her time. Okay. So don't give up.
Amanda, at one point you talked about, we all kind of had a bit of a discussion about difficulty finding hostesses. How has that changed for you?
Just kind of really filtering through, looking through your detailed genealogy. I still don't have a lot, so I don't want to mislead you in any way. I still don't have a lot of like hostesses, but seriously, honestly, constantly asking, looking through, seeing who you can ask. Again, looking who's loving the oils that you can spoil and give them free stuff. Looking just even people that may be new customers. I've been listening to Keely's training, and she said that when she gets a new customer, she pretty well asks them right away. She gives them a bit of time to have an oil experience, and most people fall deeply in love right away. And then she asks them, I'll find my wording from her. I don't have it in front of me, but she says something along the lines like, I know you're loving these oils, and I'm sure you want to tell your friends and family, like the same old, how would you feel if I came to your home and I taught this workshop? And, she just really plumps it up and gets people while they're hot, striking while iron's hot, because usually when you get your oils, you're in love. So she likes to strike them. I do still struggle with hostesses though, but again, as many as if you can bang out classes, trying to find, having a calendar there and trying to really plump up that host and showing them what they're going to get is a great way, trying to book a class from a class. And then having builders come on with you, because that's, obviously they're not your classes, but you are there teaching and you're going to try and help them get classes. So having builders come on. I've had a couple people express interest to me lately about building. And again, it's literally just because they know exactly what I'm doing, but also because I asked them. I think she's probably on here, Nicole. She is my newest builder. You guys met her in Barrie. And I literally just one day asked her. I really didn't even know her very well at the time. And I just asked her. I knew that we had some things in common, and it turns out she just quit her job. So it was the right time for her. I have somebody else that I asked, and I literally just asked them, but the wording I said to them, and this is not meant to be cheesy and this isn't fake. Don't say this if you don't mean it. But I told them I would really love it if you would work with me. I think we have a good vibe going on. I'd be honored if you join my team. I can, show you a little bit about what this means. And every single person who I've said, including like Nicole and these other girls, have said yes. And they may not be huge builders right away. They may be shares, and that's okay too. But I truly, truly meant it for these people. They're people that I would hang out with. They're people that me and my kids hang out with. Sarah's here too. She's another one of them. So don't say it if you don't mean it, okay? Because as you grow in this business, you don't have to take on people that you don't think you're a good fit for. So, but it's amazing what happens when you actually ask them.
Yeah. And I was going to say too, how amazing would you feel? Like Natalie Malia has talked about this. Her and I have talked about this, that Dawn asked her and said, I think you'd be so amazing at this business. And I really, really want you to work with me, just like Amanda did. And how honored would that person, how good would that make you feel if somebody had asked you, right? Like,
think about, like, we've all been for a job interview, right? And if you beat out, you got a job, you got the job you wanted, and you knew you were interviewing against other people, you feel good. You feel like you're the best, you just beat out this competition. You know how you feel when you don't get a job, right? Too. That's also a part of life. But it's just like a headhunter, guys. People do this as a living, headhunters, right? Where they seek people out and say, I know you're in this job, but I think you'd be really good at this one. Like, it's a full-time career for people. So don't be afraid to really get intentional and just ask them, this is what I do, and I'm really digging this vibe between us, and I think you should hear me out, or
Yeah.
And
also,
some people say yes and some people say no.
Yeah, also oil camp. I know Amanda's gotten a few classes from oil camp. I know a few other people just from that first round. So getting our new enrollments or even some older ones that are maybe loving their oils and they just need a bit of a refresh, getting them into oil camp and getting them rolling, because the faster that people are in that, I can see, like, we can already see results from last month. The faster that people are in it, the more that they're engaged, the more they're using their oils. So all of that kind of stuff.
Get your new enrollments in oil camp, guys. Get them in there because and oftentimes, like, sometimes you have old users in there, and they just didn't know, they just didn't know all these things, and they may have been sitting there with the resources and the internet and all these things that we all have, but it's time. Not everyone wants to pick up a book and flip through it. So and a video is so much easier. So get your enrollments in there. Oil camp really is a really great program. So make it work for you. Get them in there and they will start to see it.
Okay.
And I think that's it, unless anyone has any questions. I mean,
does anybody else have any questions for Amanda?
No? Everyone's good?
All
Thanks
right.
very much. That was awesome.
I didn't talk too fast. I've been told I need to slow down.
Nope, it was good.
Okay, good.
You're not as fast as Jody, so you're all good.
Yeah, no kidding. She's like warp speed.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
I hope you guys got something decent out of there. It doesn't come easy, and I've been in this for almost 4 years now. So I've been stuck at silver for 2 years. So don't think that I'm like, but this is just some of the stuff that's been worked for me. And don't discount anyone, because you never freaking know, man. You really never know. Just like this RMT who in the same breath told me she was broke, but she saw the value of natural solutions. So
yeah,
keep plugging away. It's hard and it's daunting some days, but you miss all the shots you don't take. So keep at it.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see the way your confidence has come along, Amanda. And I remember meeting you for the first time at the event Vicky had at that little place up above, wherever.
Oh God, yes. Where Vicky asked me to explain my story and I sobbed in front of all those people.
But you know what?
That one?
Like, you've just come so far, and I so appreciate that you're sharing as a leader, and it's so inspiring to me. And you know what? In seeing the confidence you're showing here in front of colleagues, I can only imagine, how much more confidence you have in front of clients. So well done.
Thank you. And again, like, for all you new faces there, that's really just something that comes with time and the more you do it. So don't be discouraged if you don't have that confidence. It's all part of the belief pyramid. You'll get it. It's just is literally time and doing it. So don't be discouraged. Keep going. And I fumbled my way through many classes. I've had many secret meetings. I've had many classes where people didn't enroll and I left feeling like a bag of dump, but it'll even out for you as long as you just keep going and don't stop.
It's the only way to fail. The only way to fail in doTERRA is if you stop
It's true.
and don't do anything.
Mm-hmm. Y'all can do it.
All right, ladies, I'm going to stop recording.